Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to the first episode of Shivers. Now I'm gonna make this informal so that you guys can relax, more or less just listen to the storytelling and stuff, right? But I need to inform you guys that there may be sound effects involved. So if you find that the sound effects may be a bit too overwhelming, maybe perhaps you might want to lower down the volume. Right, so for this episode, I'll be sharing with you guys more to enforcement. Um, Enforcement may come in different forms. Some may do, parking enforcement, which is more in the open, right? Whereas others may be doing in the form of protection officers. That means taking care of buildings, taking care of locations, and sometimes restricted installations, whereby only certain security agencies are allowed, right? So the first story that I'm going to share with you guys actually involves myself, right? I was actually part of a security agency before, and I was deployed as a QRT. For those who may not understand what QRT means, it's actually quick response team. In another words, for relief officer, right? That's the beauty word for relief officers. So basically, I was scheduled for duty, but before that, I was my OE or the operation executive actually called me that I need to proceed immediately over to Newton, right, to help support the manpower there because there is actually a two-man post, and currently one of the men actually reported sick. Later you know why. One of the men reported sick, so currently there's only one person, and they need somebody to actually support that location. So I acknowledge, and as usual, I just head over to the location for my duty. Now, I'm not going to tell you which building it is in Newton because currently the building is still in service, right? Yeah, basically, I'm deployed there. Sometimes I think it was like maybe about 2 or 3 days. Then after that, I'm redeployed to another location. So upon receiving the call, get set up, get prepared, straight away get some dinner from the nearby coffee shops, whatsoever not. Then I proceed over to the location. Now, upon reaching the location, I met one of the officer there, the only officer currently on duty on that day. Right, so as usual, as a new officer, he will bring me around, right, to the clocking points because we need to do clocking. So after a short briefing, but during that briefing itself, he did inform me something. Being an officer that cares about his colleagues, he did inform me that he had experienced certain experience of the third kind, right? I guess you guys might know what I mean by third kind. So his experience was that when he was on duty there alone, um, he was actually at the guard post. And the unique thing about this guard post is, in fact, it has no doors. So there is no aircon and there's no doors. So it's just open. So if it's hot, it's going to be hot. If it's cold, it's going to be cold. But it's quite so-called spacious. So that if in case if it rains, only the outer portions nearby to the entrance will be wet. We can still remain dry inside. So he did inform me that he had encountered a black, a huge black figure standing beside him in the guard post, which ultimately is actually blocking the entrance of the guard post itself. So he cannot do anything. He did his prayers whatsoever not until in the end he cannot stand the presence. He passed out, and the next morning he wake up. He's just like, oops, okay, hand over duty. It's like what happened, that kind of thing. So he did inform me that there is a presence there. So after he did the briefing, we went for the so-called orientation. Then we would just wait for a few minutes until the time for me to do the first clocking. Then he asked me whether do I need any partners to go along. That means if I do require a partner, he will come along. But as I can see from his looks, he just looks very tired. So I told him it's okay, I just go on my own. So I went on my own. The initial stage actually, when I was going to the first clocking point, which is very far behind in the parking lot. Alright, that parking lot was really, really dark. Okay, even though there are, street lamps, those normal street lamps which you can find in the car park. Right, it was dark, and I mean dark. Right, so I went there. That's where I got my first goosebumps. So when I got the first goosebumps, I already know that something's not right. So never mind, I just didn't entertain. Oh yeah, just before that, uh, after he gave the briefing about that big figure at the, I mean, that big figure that stands beside him at the guard post, he also informed that another colleague did experience the same thing, but it wasn't a dark figure. It was in the building itself, right? The thing is, the officer, in fact, went for his clocking rounds, and we need to go into the building, and there are some clocking points as well inside the building. So this officer went up to the top floor, which is the fourth floor. And when he went up to the fourth floor, he took the lift, right? The lift reached fourth floor, the doors open, he turned to the left. Our good friend was standing there waiting for him. Right, our good friend was standing there waiting for him. It was our big sister. Right, if you guys don't know who the big sister is, you can ask around. It will start with the letter P. Okay, so when he saw that, he quickly went back into the lift. He went down. He dropped all the clocking equipments. He get his bag. He go back. Right, and that officer was never seen again. I guess he was redeployed or he resigned, if I'm not wrong. Right, so that was the two experiences from two different officers, including that OTA itself. So after I went for the clocking point, which is behind, the next clocking point is actually inside the building itself. And like I mentioned just now, the top floor. So it was my turn. So I went in the lift, I went up to the top floor. The unique thing about this building is that it's in a squarish formation, or more or less squarish formation. So once you go out the lift, um, the offices, there is actually quite very tall office there. So once you turn, I mean, you come out of the lift, you turn left, it's all the way, it's just passageway. So I turned the lift up, reached level 4, and I turned left. Right, there was nothing there for the meantime. But when I turned left again, because it's just a short little distance before the next left. So when I turned left again, somebody flushed the toilet. Right? Somebody flushed the toilet. So just imagine if that office building is already actually empty. There's no staff or nobody in the building itself. Who the heck is going to flush the toilet in the middle of the night? Right? There's nobody in there. Even though there's a sensor there, it may be a sensor malfunction, but okay, I just regard it as a sensor malfunction. So I just ignored that. I continued on to the next clocking point, which is near to a stairwell. Right, there's one clocking point there, just I think beside a fire extinguisher. So along the way to that clocking point, uh, I was actually doing this thing alone. So I'm doing the clocking alone. So along the way to that clocking point, as I was walking along the passageway, the window is just right beside me. There's nothing but just a wall on my right hand side, a wall and a window. Right, all the way until that clocking point, somebody was tapping on the window. Right, tapping on the window all the way to the clocking point. So I was like wondering who is going to tap on the window when after the window it goes straight down, right? And lucky for me, the window is actually kind of having a reflective surface, so I can't actually see what is actually going on outside because inside is slightly bright, outside is dark, so there's a reflective kind of thing. So luckily for me, I can't see outside. I can only hear the sounds of somebody tapping on the window, and definitely for sure, the tree is higher than the building, so it cannot be branches hitting on the window. And coincidentally, also there's no wind, so no branch, no wind, so nothing's gonna hit on the window except for something. So I ignored that tapping. I just did the clocking, and all the way back to the lift lobby is the same thing again. Tapping on the window. Something is testing my patience or my bravery. Uh, right. So once I passed all the windows, it was a very long. I mean, about like what, 5 meters or less than 10 meters worth of windows. I reached to the lift lobby. Once I reached to the lift lobby, somebody flushed the toilet again. But this time, somebody turned on the light, right? But I'm pretty sure that toilet is actually using sensors. So it has to be having movements in the toilet to actually activate the light up. So unfortunately, the building is already empty. Who is going to activate the light? Or what thing actually move which caused the light to activate? Plus, somebody is having constipation or something, keeps on flushing the toilet. So I just ignored that. Once the lift reached to level 4, I quickly went in, I went down, I just informed the old timer, say, hey, your friend is here. And particularly friend is, I guess, should be big sister lah. So he said, okay. So I let him, we just chit chat for the meantime until the second round. Second round, he went for the clocking and he came back, the face looked pale. So ultimately, I know already what's going on. So I told him, okay, since you're looking very pale, you want to maybe go to the nearby petrol station to actually get a drink or maybe get some snacks or whatsoever. We walk together, go and buy. Then after that, we come back, we chit chat outside. And so we did that until morning, until maybe I think about dawn. As usual, the Malays call it subuh or the morning prayers. Then everything will subside. So that is one of the stories that's involved one of the buildings in Newton. Right, there's a lot of buildings in Newton, but I cannot mention which building because the building is in service, like I mentioned before. But I'm pretty sure that place is really, really spooky and haunted. Try it out, but I won't tell you. Anyway, how many of you guys had this had this experience before? Leave your feedback in the comments below. Right. So without further ado, we'll move over to the next uh, story. Also involves my experience, and this time at a location nearby to the border. Okay, guys. So one story has already cleared, and I guess that's tons of story for you guys. Another story is this time I am going to share with you the experience which I was actually working as a border officer. Now, there's only two security agencies that has been doing the borders all this while. The other starts with C or it starts with A. Now, I cannot mention because the companies are still in service. So, this particular incident or this particular experience was at a train checkpoint. All right. After the briefing, right, and handing over, I was deployed to the train checkpoint for my duty, for the night duty. So I did my patrols up and down as per usual, just checking on any defects or any things that's left by the night train. Um, and other than that, see whether there's any suspicious things being left around outside and also inside the compound. Then after I did my initial patrol, I sat down at the far corner, which is nearby to the border, which is nearby to not, I mean, not inwards, not the inside of towards Singapore, but outside towards JB. I was sitting there, just minding my own business, wondering, how the trains work, all this kind of thing. That thing keeps coming into my mind because it's a train checkpoint. You just really got to try trains kind of thing. So I know the history there, but I don't want to share with you guys because I don't want to scare you guys. Then I was just sitting there doing my thinking or doing my calculation, all this kind of thing, the usual thing. I wouldn't call it daydream because I'm on active duty. So I was like resting, and at that time I was a smoker, and I'm still a smoker. So I just smoke a stick, take a break, smoke a stick, kind of thing. And suddenly, just out of nowhere, somebody called my name. A woman voice called my name. Hafiz. It's really faint, but it's really, really close to my ear. At that time, the platform is usually non-aircon, and then the main building is actually aircon. So we just open one window to actually let us have a bit of aircon coming out from the main building. So suddenly, that voice called out my name. Now, the first time I ignored. The first time it called my name, I ignored it because maybe I thought somebody called me on my walkie-talkie or walkie set. So minding my own business again, the thing called out for a second time. Hafiz, very faint, very, very close to my ear. So I was thinking, was like, okay, somebody is just like beside me or either behind me. So I turned around and have a look. Nobody was around. That whole building was empty. So as per usual, when this kind of thing happens, take out one stick, smoke. One stick finish, take out another stick, smoke again to relieve stress. Stress. So while doing that, I called in for backup as well. So that backup happens to be an old timer. He came down together with the Gurkha contingent partner. Then he asked me one bonus question. Hey, Bab, somebody call out your name, is it? It's like, how you know? That one common. That one down here common. Lah, this place a lot of history one. That one common. I was like to him like, duh, duh. I was like, this is my first experience, and you just tell me it's common. It's like okay, fine. So we just chit chat, help to relieve that kind of tension a bit. Because I know there's a few areas in that particular spot that had a bit of a dark history. So basically the disturbance is pretty common. Now, aside from that, my buddy, who's an Indian now, this is not his real name. I'll just call him Siva. Siva was also deployed. This was a few days before. Siva was also deployed. The same thing at the platform, patrol, mind his own business. Then suddenly, ops room radio out to him, say, "Hey, Siva, hey, there's somebody behind you. How come got somebody?" Then this Siva go and turn around, go and have a look, check the areas around him, check behind him, check in front of him, anywhere, right? Then he responded, say, "Hey, there's nobody behind me." Then ops room informed him again, say, "Are you sure? Because from our side we can see somebody behind you. There's a woman behind you. She has long hair, all the description, long hair, white clothing, almost the same height as you, just behind you. Just behind you." So he turned around again, he had a look. And this time thinking that it was a joke or a prank. He got pissed off, he sound off back to ops room and said, "Hey, you don't play, now night time already. This kind of thing is no joke." So the ops room replied to him again, "Okay, if you think this one is a joke, come inside the ops room and see." So he left the position, he went into the ops room, and true enough, at the CCTV or on screen from the CCTV itself, that same woman, long hair, white clothes, is standing in the same position he was standing just now, but this time looking or staring at the CCTV. Right? Staring at the CCTV. So now Siva has got nothing to say already because it is already seen on CCTV. But to him, when he was physically there, when he looked around, there was nothing there. Now another problem is that the ops room and the CCTV that is facing that entity is actually outside of the ops room. And the so-called the distance between the CCTV and the entity is actually very, very close. So what do you think? Right. End of the day, everybody was inside the ops room and ops room was monitoring. They took turns to actually monitor the CCTV for any movement outside. Until again, when it comes to dawn, the woman just suddenly disappeared. Nowhere to be found. And on top of that, for security reasons, they locked the ops room door and didn't allow anybody in, especially women. Right? So that's one part of the story which is involving the train checkpoint. Now I have another one which is also at the borders. Right, this time is near the international border. Now this next experience that I'm going to share with you guys is actually somewhere near to or after the September 11 incident, right? So after the September 11, every country have their security all heightened up. Everything double up, checks double up, patrols double up, whatever, anything security related will be double up. Even equipments are double up. So during that point in time, I was doing the border patrol, and we are assigned to one Gurkha contingent partner. Alright, each officer is assigned a Gurkha contingent partner when doing the patrol duty at the international border, and everybody is wearing a full so-called bulletproof vest, right, in case of any attacks. Right, it was pretty heavy anyway. But anyway, at that time when I started the patrol, 1 round, 2 round, there was nothing. We spotted nothing. Everything was fine. Everything was normal. It was not raining. Right? Traffic is as per normal. Everybody was saying hi. Bang. Macam, when you have a rapport with the neighboring countries, that tends to happen. So on the third round itself, near to the international border, when I was looking back at the departure side near the coastline. Now, the departure wall is like that, the coastline is like that, and over here is already the water, right? The thing is actually standing very near to the water, right? What was actually standing near the water? It was actually in the shape of a woman, long hair. Um, if I can still recall, it was like very shabby kind of clothing. It's not those, um, going to jalan-jalan kind of thing, going to shopping or whatsoever clothing kind of thing. It's very, very shabby, right? So to reconfirm what I see, I asked my Gurkha contingent partner whether he sees the same thing that I see. So I showed him the location. I asked him, okay, hey, do you see the same thing as I see? Hey, is there a person? Hey, yeah, there's a person there. Yes, I have a person. Person have. That lingo, Gurkha lingo kind of thing. So I informed the departure side that there's a person or the presence of a person down at the coastline that caused a very big commotion. Everybody all will start looking around, looking at the walls, jumping over the walls, going to the fence, because at that time the security was already heightened out and the edges of the building is already fixed up with the stainless steel fence or something like that with a spiky thing on top, right? So everybody was going down on the grass patch near to that fencing and shining the so-called torchlight beam. So I can see the beam of light all traveling in all direction, and some of them actually hit the correct spot where the particular entity is, right? So, but the problem is they don't see anything at the coastline. That is what puzzles me. So they radio back, say, hey, there's nothing here. Then I keep on telling them, right? I reconfirm with the Gurkha again, and I keep telling them, say, hey, no, the thing is still standing there. It is still standing there. Some of you guys actually shown the light at the correct spot. I can see your light shining at the correct spot. Try again. So they keep on searching until a few minutes. When they see that there is nobody there, they give it a pass. But the person or the thing still stands at its location, not moving. And for all I know, the coastline has nothing that is protruding out. So until morning, when we hand over shift, or maybe I think in the morning, and we tried patrolling again, that apparition or the so-called figure at the departure site has already disappeared. So when I handed over duty and we did a debrief, one of the senior officers actually approached me, right? He approached me. He gave me the so-called newspaper from the Malaysian side. Say, hey, I think you know what you I think you know what I think I know what you saw yesterday night. So he showed me the paper. Say, you read that article. In that article, it states that over on the JB side coastline, a baby was found, a newborn was found without any blood at the coastline of JB. That means at the shores of JB. What actually happened to the baby until there is no blood? That's the question. And I actually didn't get to read the full article, and I've been trying to actually get that article for this video itself, but unfortunately I cannot find. But it was pretty scary. The baby or the newborn actually is pretty pale, really pale, like totally out of blood, like shocking. So that is what I have experiences over near the border. There's also some other stories, but that's internal, so I cannot share with you guys because it's in the building itself. More or less to the restrooms and so on and so forth. But I will share with you guys one more as a bonus. But this is not scary. It's kind of a mixture of scary and funny at the same time. So now, if you guys notice on the side of the causeway itself, there are three huge pipelines, right? On the Singapore side, there's the last point of contact, right? There's an observation point there, just after the end of the pipeline, right? So my friend, actually this is not my experience, it's an experience of another officer. So he was actually on duty there with his partner. He, they just see inside, watch out for any illegal immigrants coming in, or any suspicious character loitering around that area or coming towards from JB, right? So he was actually monitoring the situation kind of thing. Then suddenly he has the feeling of urgency for nature call. So when he had that call of nature, you see that location itself is just an observation point. There's no toilet, there's nothing, everything is more commando kind of thing. So he had no choice but to relieve himself. So he went over to the corner where the sea is, because we are quite nearby to the sea. That point is actually nearby to the seaside or the coastline. So without him actually looking down, he just released himself. He just released himself. After he has already feel so relieved, guess what he saw? When he looked down, he saw the face of a dead body, a bloated dead body, looking back up at him. And he has just peed over that dead body. So just imagine what's the feeling. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a lot of nightmares. So he realized that he just peed over a dead body. That I guess since he mentioned it's bloated, means that the person must have been drowned or something somewhere for a very long time, because things get bloated up when you are in the water for a very long time. I've seen bloated dogs. The pattern looks like a cow, but when it gets bloated up, it really looks like a cow, but it's actually a dog. That is how bad when you get bloated up with water. So his experience, I guess, took him quite a shock. The next day, he reported sick. Cannot tahan, because it came to him as a shock. But he didn't realize. He didn't look down first before he released himself. And after he released himself, he looked down, and our good friend is actually lying down there looking up at him. Poor thing. So there you go, guys. That's for the first episode. I hope it was scary enough, or it may not be. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video or the storytelling. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to stay informed of the latest video. Now, I'm running late for this video. In fact, as as of you guys watching this video, I'm running late in posting. I was actually planning to post on every Thursday, because every Thursday night is the happening night. Right? For the Malays, there's two sides of it. One is happy hour, the other one is more to, um, you guys got a ghost month. For the Chinese, they have a ghost month. So for the Malays, every Thursday, the spirits will actually roam free at night. So that's when the best time for me to release the video. But for this video itself, it's running late. So on the next video itself, look forward to it on every Thursday night, midnight, right? If you guys are wondering what's the happy hour, that one when you get married, then you know. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to see you guys in the next video or in any of my vlogs. Right, as per usual, stay safe, ride safe, and stay out of trouble. Bye bye.